All right, Kelly, thanks for joining me. We'll wait a couple of seconds before we get started on today's Facebook Live, and we will go ahead and share this really important news and such a good reminder for everybody that they need to know regarding car accidents and injuries. How's your almost Friday going, Kelly?
It's going really well. Today's a really good day here at the office, so it's a good day.
Okay, it is a good day, and we woke up with great news. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to share some quick updates with you all. We are closed next week for Thursday and Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday and Black Friday. So we will be in the office Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday only. So bear with us as we go into the holiday season. There'll be a few office closures. And for those of you who don't know, joining me today is Kelly Dominguez. She's been with me for over 2 years, case manager, and really helping me with the car accidents from start to finish and from pre-suit to litigation. Kelly has her Juris Doctorate degree and a master's degree and all sorts of years experience in this field. So Kelly, thanks for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And we wanted to give you all a quick update on car accidents and some things you should know. Today we received really good news on our first offer from the insurance company, where they have basically tendered the policy of $50,000 plus dollars for our client. And this particular policy is really important to cover this client's outstanding bills, and it's from his policy of the vehicle. So Kelly, if you can explain kind of where the client would have been had he not have policy, and to remind our viewers and friends what the importance of having and why we keep talking about it. And this is such a good example to remind everybody.
Of course. So when the client was initially, it was a rear end hit. The bodily injury that was available under the other driver's policy was $10,000. However, our client was severely hurt from this accident. He lost a lot of time out of work and had a huge workers' compensation lien on his case. Therefore, his bills would have the $10,000 he would have taken nothing home because the bills surpassed that. So, for example, if that's where his case ended, he would have ended with a $10,000 offer and paying doctors out of his own pocket.
Yeah, not just not taking anything home, but being left with considerable debt from an accident that he didn't cause.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yeah, of course. So now which is why we always talk about this, is underinsured, underinsured insurance coverage. Like we stated before, this is something that you carry in your own policy. Because there was underinsured available under the policy of 50,000 plus, we were able to go after that policy and obtain policy limits for the client. So remember, if there's no UIM, he would have stayed with $10,000. He would have been capped that amount.
Yeah, and thankfully we were able to now get the maximum, which was 10,000, and the maximum 50,000, allowing this client to recover total 60,000, which will now allow him to take something home for his damages and not leave him in debt. And you guys, this is really, I can't stress it enough. I always tell people, if you love somebody, tell them to get Today we had an office meeting, and Kelly offered the rest of the staff, Safa, Gloria, let me look at your car insurance policy, because the last thing we want to do is have somebody in our own office stuck with a bad situation and they don't have This is how important we believe this is, where we are even doing the checks for our fellow team members. So if you have any questions about your own policy, I'll be happy to look at it. I'm sure Kelly's happy to look at it, and we will see what you have from there. So since we are talking about car accidents, and we were really excited to share the news with you all today, I just kind of want to take a step back and talk about what to do if you have been in an accident. And this does not matter if you are here in status, or if you're here on a tourist visa or a work visa. None of that matters if you are in a car accident and you're not at fault. So we help those who are injured. We help the immigrants. So if you have any situations like that, just let us know. So God forbid you're in an accident and you get rear-ended. Kelly, what's the first thing that you're going to do?
So the first thing that I would do is call the police, get it documented. I know a lot of people, whether you're out of status, the last thing you want to do is call an officer, but calling the police and getting a police report is very important. It allows us to have documentation. It's a lot less work when you hire an attorney so we can figure out liability, because it becomes a he said, she said situation, and it really can complicate your case.
Right. And this, as Kelly stated, right, is he said, she said, when you both exchange information, somebody might say, hey, I am completely at fault. This is my fault. I'm going to take care of this. By the time you get home and you call your insurance company, they've already spoken to their insurance company and the story has changed. And it does, stink to wait a couple hours for the sheriff or highway patrol to arrive to the scene to make a report. But it is really critical that that happens so that way you can protect yourself and the case is well documented. Of course, you want to also, make sure that if you're not okay and you've been severely injured, when you dial 911, of course, you ask for medical attention as well. Don't get out of the car if it's not in a safe area where you could be standing as a pedestrian. But if you can, and you can move your car to a safe place, document the damage to the other person's vehicle, and and try to remember what the incident was like. Obviously, some of our clients who are already our clients for an immigration process will call us right after. As Kelly mentioned, maybe you're undocumented. They have some fear of calling the police prior to doing so. So if that's the case, or you're one of our clients, or if you're not, feel free to call us and we'll try to help you navigate those waters. So the police report has been done. Photographs has been taken. Kelly, what is next for somebody who's been injured in an accident?
Yeah, so the next step is, of course, if you have been injured, is getting treatment. We can't stress it enough. Treatment is really important for your case. And making sure in Florida, as we described before, there's a 14-day PIP statute, meaning that you need to treat within 14 days of the accident. Obviously, if you want to give us a call first, you can give us a call and we will help you get to the right provider that's near your home in case you don't have anywhere to go. But it is very important that you do get that treatment, because PIP will pay for the benefits for you for the medical treatment that you need.
Right. And Kelly's absolutely right. We can help you either make the claim or reach out to your insurance company. A lot of times there's some confusion. People might say, I don't have money for a lawyer, even though I've been in an accident. How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? Well, the good news is for car accidents or any type of injury case like a slip and fall, it's what we call contingency based, meaning that there is no money up front for the client. It is based on recovery. So if we're unable to recover, that's at no cost to you. Only if there's a recovery do we receive a portion of the settlement. And this is all in the contract. So don't let the issue of money or anything stand in your way before reaching out to an attorney if you've been injured in some type of an accident. Now, besides, making the claim and the insurance company, Kelly mentioned, treating, right? You have to make sure you follow your doctor's orders or your physical therapy or your treatment plan, because it's critical to help establish what you're claiming your damages to be, or for them to understand that you are severely injured. It doesn't go hand in hand to say, I've injured, I've missed work, but we don't have any proof of you actually attending your treatments and your recommended therapy.
Right. And again, with treatment, it's clients always ask me, what do I do next once they have hired our firm? And I always say, your main focus is treatment. We handle the rest. We handle the insurance companies. We try to do our best to take off that stress. And the client's main purpose is to make sure they're getting treatment. The reason why some cases we do get full policy limits is because clients get the treatment that they need. A lot of times clients don't want to continue going to treatment. I completely understand that. I know in this life we live very busy, very fast-paced lives, but it is important. We can't prepare a good demand for you, and we can't document everything that's going on if there is no treatment. So that is really pivotal for your case and really the outcome of the damages for your case.
Kelly, sometimes I hear a lot from people like, hey, I was in an accident. My friend was driving. I don't want to sue them, but how can I was hurt, right? I had a car hit my side. The impact was on my side of the vehicle. We always try to tell people, look, you're not suing your friend who was driving. That's why we have an insurance company, right? That's why some of us are paying several $100s a month, is for the purpose of, God forbid, there's an accident. And that's the insurance company's job to go ahead and cover the damages that come from that accident. So we have handled cases where multiple people were in the same car, but the driver was not at fault. And even if the driver was at fault, but perhaps, and you're a passenger, there may still be a claim for you to pursue. So make sure that you realize, or at least ask, what are your rights regarding these types of issues and what can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Just something that I tend to see a lot. And it is nice, right? People have good intentions,
right.
But you want to make sure that, one, your health is important and it's being taken care of, and you're not being stuck with bills or any other damages.
Right, and I think it's really important to make sure you call a law firm. Give us a call here at Mubarak Law, and we can talk about these issues. As many of you know, for personal injury, we don't get paid unless we recover for you. So these questions, if you do have a concern, just give us a call and we can talk about that. And of course, you make the decision if it's something you want to pursue or not.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, and I'm really flattered by this. A lot of our clients trust us. We've handled their immigration or we've handled their car accident case. When you call us with a particular case, it might not be a case that we can help you with, but we'll do our best to get you in, the right hands or experienced hands. This particular individual, while he's in an accident, was also in, the line of duty of work. So there's even a workman's comp case, and so we're working with his other attorney. Helped him find his other attorney to handle the workman's comp claim. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I didn't know you do more than immigration. Just see what we can do, reach out. I've been in Orlando my whole legal career and over close to 12 years. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, we know we can find you somebody who might be able to help you and your needs. So I want to kind of touch base on a demand and kind of when does that happen? And what can the client expect, Kelly? We talked about treatment. So the client's treating, what happens next?
Right. So after the client finishes treatment, we advise the client we're going to go ahead and request all medical records and bills. What this allows us is to prepare the demand. That's really the most important part of the case is the records and the billing. From there, we can really extensively review, which is what we do in the firm. We don't just print out cases hoping we get a good first offer. We make sure that we are, always reviewing everything and really reading your medical records and your billing. So from there, we'll prepare the demand. The demand usually goes out. It takes them the insurance can take about 30 days before we hear back. The first offer usually is not a good offer, but it is an offer. So at least they're not contesting liability. There's not an issue with the case. So through the first offer, we advise of our client as you may know, it's really the client's file. So we really make sure that you know the information before we counter until you give us authority to continue negotiation.
Yeah, a couple of things that Kelly touched on I want to circle back to. So liability, basically meaning who's at fault, and is the insurance company going to fight with us as to no, we didn't cause the accident, you did, and we're not going to pay anything. So she's right. If we're getting offers, it means they're not contesting liability. It's very important. Okay. And yeah, sometimes the first offer might not be a good offer. This case that we told you about in the beginning, right away, was the entire policy. So that's what we are doing there. And the other thing I wanted to say was that we have an obligation to you to relay the offer to you. So although we know you're not going to accept the $5,000, I have an angry cat over here. Let me show you guys. So here he is. There's a guy making all this noise. But yeah, so in order to make sure that we represent you to the best of our abilities, and what we are required to by law is that we have to relay any offer that they make. And so sometimes you're like, why are you telling me that they offered us $5,000? That's not something that I want to take. So just to give you guys some more information as to why we have to do those things. Okay, so Kelly, the demand is sent. And what happens if we cannot reach an agreement? And can you give some explanation on pre-suit settlements and what happens when something goes into litigation?
Of course. So with pre-suit settlements, there's a couple of different things that happen. Pre-suit, it's obviously before a complaint is filed. If for some reason we can't come to an agreement with the insurance company, we will definitely give you a call, and we will advise you of what the attorney recommends that this next steps, right? Majority of the time, the next step is filing a complaint. And once the complaint is filed with the court, that means that we are going into litigation, that we are preparing this case if it needs to go to trial. Now, it doesn't mean that the case is going to go to trial. It just means it can settle at any point there before trial, but it just means that we are formally bringing a complaint against the other driver or the insurance company.
Yeah, and once the complaint is filed, it all depends. That might change the adjuster who's on the insurance company to reevaluate the offers that they have made. So a lot of times, if you see in attorney agreements with you and the client that once a complaint is filed, that the contingency portion of the fees gets higher for the lawyer. That's because they had to pay the fees to file a lawsuit. There's more work that's done, but typically if some settlement happens before discovery occurs, and that's usually where the litigation portion starts to get more heavy for the attorneys. A lot of times attorneys will probably still or can still offer the lower fee because they haven't really gotten into full litigation mode. So those are really important things, and it's absolutely your right to negotiate your contract with your attorneys or review the statements and make sure that you are willing to accept the fees and the portions at that rate. That's why there's a release for both the insurance company and for your attorney's closure to disperse the funds.
Of course. And then touching back on attorney fees, here at the office, when we are ready to file a complaint, it's a conversation we have with the clients, advising them, these are your options. We can file a complaint. However, the fee is this up to a certain period, as Nayef stated, whether it's before discovery. It says it in our retainer agreement. So it is really important that you are, if you sign the retainer agreement, to look at your retainer and see what those fees are. But majority of the time, most firms will give you, the next steps and what to expect in the case.
So I just wanted to also kind of switch gears for just a second with immigration. We had some really incredible wins the last few weeks, something called provisional waiver, where a client has been here for a certain period of time unlawfully, and the only way to cure or correct their status requires them to travel back home, obtain a waiver, and then return to the U.S. as permanent residents. And this can be a very scary thing. People don't know when they're going to leave their families or when they're going to see them again. But thankfully, we had a client go and come back in just a matter of weeks. And we were all reunited last Friday. The day they, I think, came back, they insisted on seeing us, and we couldn't be happier for them. We posted about it, so check that out. And I also want to remind you all, we mentioned workman's comp very briefly, and we had an attorney a couple of weeks ago on our Facebook Live. So all of our videos, you might have just started following us, are on social media like Instagram or YouTube. So you can go back and see if there's particular topics like investor visas or employment-based visas. So for our investor visas, we also, or employment-based, had H-1B petitions approved in the last couple of weeks for, that's for a non-immigrant worker. So we've just really been working hard and grinding and seeing outstanding results in the month of November. And really with the car accident cases, we're starting to see things pick up again after COVID, and things are getting set for trial. Things are moving forward. So we're hoping that this can continue in this direction so that we are able to deliver for our clients, whether it's car accidents or immigration. We, just another reminder, are closed next week, Thursday and Friday. So consultations are starting to go into December. Feel free to contact us to book your consultation now. Again, car accidents, there's no fees. Immigration, there's some fees up front, but we're happy to discuss your options with you. I'm heading out, and the reason I was home is I'm going to speak to an elementary school today. So I'll be speaking to third graders about what it's like to be a lawyer, an attorney, and hopefully not get too many difficult questions from the future generation. And Kelly, I can't thank you enough for joining me, and anything else you'd like to have, or I'll let you have the last word.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Congratulations to our immigration client. I actually went through the same process that he did. So it was it's a scary process, but it's definitely worth it. So I'm really happy for him. Again, thank you for having me, and I hope everyone has a safe weekend.
Well, I said you'll have the last word, but thank you for sharing. That's incredible. I appreciate you always. And we'll see you guys soon. If you have any topics or questions, feel free to reach out to us, and have a great Thanksgiving if we don't join you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.